Hi, I'm Ferre. I'm here with Swenson, and this is one of our property deal of the day videos where we look at different property deals that we've seen through tax sales recently that we think are interesting and that are worth sharing. And so let's take a look at this next property, which we're looking at. This is a single family home in New York, valued at 168 and that sold for about 66,000, or roughly 39%. Those are the rough outlines of the deal, but let's look and see whether we think they got a good deal.
Yeah, well, we can see it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. So that's nice. It has that third bath. We can also see a 2-car garage. That's going to be a benefit as well. Now, this is a bit of an older home, about just under 2,000 square feet. And in New York, which is where this particular property was purchased, it's okay that it's a bit of an older home. But one thing we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at the exterior to try to make a determination of how good the interior is.
Well, and one of the things about this property that you can see is that it is in excellent shape. It is an old property. In fact, I don't know that we have the year listed here, but it could easily be from a 1920 or a 1930, or it could be older than that. Certainly in New York, it's not uncommon to find properties that are much older than that in many cases, but that's not really what's important. What's important is that the images that we're looking at are current images, or at least they were current at the time, and the property looks like it was still being lived in, so that tells you quite a bit right there, that the property is in good usable condition. But it also tells you that I think it's always been lived in up to this point, because it's well cared for, and things are manicured. Stuff like that wooden deck on the front will fall apart very quickly. Once properties are abandoned or no longer, people are no longer using them, water damage can cause tons of issues. So to have a property that is, that is still occupied, says a lot about the condition.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. One thing that's interesting as well is we've looked at a couple of New York properties recently and kind of went through their sold results, and it seems like a lot of these homes in this kind of condition are selling for about 30 to 40 cents on the dollar. This one kind of being the higher end of it, 39 cents on the dollar, and that kind of makes sense because of the extra garage, the shape, the condition that Shay talked about. That's probably why the investor was willing to pay up for this property. But the fact that it's got that extra third bathroom makes a big deal in trying to resell this property. 3 bathrooms is better than 2, just like as 2 is better than 1. So at 66,000, I think there's still a good room for probability in there. Even if they were to spend 30 grand on rehabbing, they would still be able to make, 70, 80 grand, at least 60 to 80 grand, somewhere in that mark, even putting some money into rehab, and it may not need that much.
Yeah, also this property would work really well for a rental, for like a long-term rental. It's got the right size to it, it's very desirable, it's a nice area to live in, here where it's located at. So a lot of things like that are going good for the property. It would work well, I think, long term. So yeah, I like the property, and I think you're right too on the pricing. I think that they paid on the upper end of the percentage there of what it's going to take to get into the property, and that you could pay more, but I don't think you would necessarily want to pay more, because you just don't know what you're going to run into, and what it may need.
I completely agree with you. If you like our training, go ahead and check out our website, taxsalesupport.com. That's where we offer our membership program with our auction list and all of our training. And if you like our videos, please like, subscribe, and also put any of your questions down in the comment section, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, you bet. We'd love to answer your questions in our upcoming videos. So be watching those. We'll see you in the next one.